I have seen, when it comes to political commentary, zero anti-Semitism. Like 100% of the actual proper Semitism I see is from the right wing. Well, I can talk about it and I can identify the problem that's happened. Like I've actually identified a particular type of propaganda. It's not like intentional propaganda, it's like a propagandistic effect. What was I talking about? My mind's gone blank. Oh, I forgot what word I was even using as well. Alright then, the Gaza thing. So it's called, I call it one-sided propaganda. So one of the things I've noticed with the left, it's not really as relevant in reading the most recent videos I've watched in the last year or two. Whatever, one-sided propaganda is that when I first started watching people like talk about, like I would watch one streamer, when I used to watch streamers, and they were going through, the history a little bit, and they were going through what exactly is it that Israel is doing to the Gazans even before their October 7th attack. But the thing I saw, it was just like there was an Israel person that was in the backyard of a Palestinian, and then the Israeli person, it was just like, oh, this is my country. It's like he wasn't saying it, but like the impression was like, this is my country. It's just like I'm just gonna come in and I'm just gonna steal your home. And like I saw that way before the October 7th, so I knew that the Israeli government has been oppressing Gazinians, I don't know the word, Gazans, for like decades. But what they would basically do is, what would basically happen is they would be like, oh, Israel is doing this, Israel is doing that, Israel is doing this, Israel is doing that, Israel is doing this, Israel is doing that. So all you hear is Israel is doing this to that this way. But they didn't make to note that Hamas is an extremist group. Whether it's like they're reacting to the oppression and committing to extremism, but they're still committing to extremism. But like, what's basically happening there is, because you're hearing one side of the story, and they're not hearing about this, like a certain element of corruption on the side. Actually, I'll get the left right there. Because it's always focused on this area, and you forget to mention that Hamas are an extremist group. They're recognized as such. What happens then is when you hear one side is doing this to that side, because you don't hear about the bad stuff that side is doing, it makes it look as if when someone on that side eventually stands up, even though like it's in extremist ways, because they haven't been taught that this is an extremist group, they look at Hamas as if they're the good guys. Is that, oh, they're just Hamas, they're fighting against oppression. Yes, but they're like religious extremists. I think they're religious extremists. So they're basically getting this one-sided propaganda effect where they think that this side, even though they are just as corrupt as that side, that they are actually the good guys when they're actually not. It's like, for instance, like in Palestinians, they're like homophobic. Obviously, just because they're homophobic doesn't mean there's an excuse to do a genocide of their people. But it's just like, because they've kind of like Israel bad, Israel bad, Israel bad, they think Hamas good. And then that's why you've got a bunch of, like, when the October 7th happened, I think it's happened a bit recently when it comes to that leader that was killed in this other country. You did have some people like celebrate it. And that's because they're a victim of this one-sided propaganda effect, where that's all they've heard is Israel is bad, but they haven't heard that this group is bad. So then, when that group committed to that October attack, they were like wearing T-shirts of the fan like parachute type thing that they came in on. So it's just like they were literally celebrating the attack. But I don't think it was because of anti-Semitism. It's just that they've been a victim of one-sided propaganda, and that's why you have some like fringe, like the very like a like a 0.1 or a 0.1% of the left is actually like, even then there's like a 1% of them, probably more than 1%, but there's like 1% of them that are like kind of like I've been fooled into celebrating that attack. But then you got like a 0.1% of them that are actually anti-Semitic, because this is like 99.9% is not anti-Semitic at all. It's just that, and then the 1% has just been duped into through one-sided propaganda, and that's why you have some lefties celebrating like the atrocities of the finale. But it's not because they're anti-Semitic; it's just they're a victim of one-sided propaganda. But anyway, that's me kind of like explaining the propaganda effect, and on the the left, I guess it wasn't intentional that they were doing propaganda, but because they forgot to mention it, it became a propaganda effect. But when I heard another guy talking about, so after I created this, I then saw like someone covering stuff of Gaza after that October attack, and they did make a note to say that Hamas aren't good guys, that they are bad guys or whatever. So then that guy was basically like fixing that propaganda effect that other people had done in the past. But then I imagine that there was a point in time where the other people I was watching did make that note that Hamas aren't good neither. But anyway, that's like an example of one-sided propaganda. It's where you only hear one side of the story and you don't hear that the other side is also corrupt as well. But because you only hear the one side, you start to think that that group is good on the other side, but they're not. And then you have people then, because they've only heard one side of the story, they become a victim of this one-sided propaganda effect.